I'm Lauren with Packhacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Orbitkey Key Organizer Pro, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. If this design looks familiar to you, that's because this is the Pro version of their regular key organizer, which is one of their most popular products. So in this case, there are a few differences. I'll show you this in comparison to the key organizer, just a standard one later in this video, but we're gonna go over the functionality of this one specifically. So in this case, what we have here are, this is designed to keep your keys from like jangling all over the place. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys in this key organizer, but it can fit up to 9. And this little tool here, at the time of shooting this video, it's unclear if this is actually included in every version of the Pro or if this is an add-on. But in the case of their Kickstarter, it is included in kind of that baseline. But basically what it is it's a little tool that it has like, I'm gonna bring this up a little closer. It has ridges on it here, and it's a little grippy, so you put your finger on it and you can flip up your key for quick use. So basically, I know that this is the main key that I unlock my door with. So when I use my key, I'm going to just open it up like that, flip it up, I can get access to this one really quickly. Without this tool, what you would have to do is flip all of your keys up and then just find the one that you're looking for, which is what you're gonna have to do if you wanna use any of these other keys. So let's say I wanna use, you know, this key instead, I just kinda have to like sort through and find the one that I need. So in terms of functionality, this is really great if you don't like having your keys kind of jangling all over the place. And we do like the original if you don't have a ton of keys to carry. But in this as well, if you have larger keys, like I have the fob for my car, I have the fob for, you know, the office, I have my air tracker or my air tag here. All of these items are gonna have to be attached to this D-ring on the outside because they don't actually fit on the inside here. So it's kind of like up to you to determine whether or not the functionality is great. I think if you're somebody who like lives in a city or, you know, you only have like a house key or something like that, then that's gonna be pretty great functionality because this is really great for just like sticking in your pocket. Objectively, this is a lot easier to fit in something than if you were to have those larger keys attached. So just kind of depends on what your needs are and kind of what your day-to-day keys look like. Like I said, this fits up to 9, but you can have as few as 3 in here. But in terms of like getting the keys actually in here, well, I'll show you this D-ring really quick. This D-ring is actually like locked in place down here, so it's not gonna like fly all over the place. I did notice that sometimes, like if I wanted to attach, like if I had a key leash in my bag and I wanted to attach it to this D-ring, sometimes the D-ring was not wide enough or like it would be a little bit awkward to get in and out. So that's something to keep in mind. But in general, this little like this side here with the ridges on it are going to be what you look at when you want to add or remove keys. So basically it's kind of like a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey situation. In this case, I have all my keys on here and I just twist this to the left until it starts unscrewing, and then and when I get my keys on, I'll show you in a second, but when I get my keys on, then I screw this back up. And this has what they call their precise micro tension adjustments, which basically means that the more you tighten this, it'll kind of start clicking, and you can't really hear it well, but you can sort of, you can't really even see it, but when you're turning it, it's like clicking into place as it goes, almost like kind of like a gear clicks into place. And it starts to tighten up the tension on these keys here. So you can determine how loose or how tight you want them. If you have more keys or less keys, you can kind of customize it that way as well. And when you take this out, it takes a few seconds here to unscrew it because it is really long. There is an extender that you can get. It is compatible with all of their like extra accessories and stuff like that, so you can always get those additional items. But in this case here, you can see these keys fell off pretty quickly. These ones don't actually, they're not long enough to like fit on this pole, this post here. So you kind of have to line them up and then just like get this in there through them. But for the most part, these are gonna be the kind of thing where you like set it and forget it, right? So once you get all your keys in there, you can just have them right in place and they are pretty much ready to go for you. Like I mentioned, the primary reason to get this key organizer is to keep your keys from jangling, but it does add a little bit of extra bulk to your keys. So normally if I had all these keys and they were just on a regular jump ring, they would be flying all over the place, but they would fit a little bit better in my sling. They would fit like in a back pocket. I would have less of, this is going to, whether we like it or not, take up some space and some weight as well. But it is a really nice premium feel. It's like a nice leather material. It looks really good in my opinion. I think it's just like, it kind of makes the keys lock down a little bit better than if they were just like flopping all over the place. Obviously, if you have these larger fobs, that's where it starts to be like, is it as functional if I were just to have everything on my key ring as here? So it kind of comes down to personal preference, but I think in terms of actual packability, you can't really beat this. It is a little bit longer than the original, but let's take a look at those in comparison now. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. So we're gonna take a look at the original compared to the Pro. So you can't really tell when they're side by side, but the Pro is a little bit longer. It's not anything too crazy. I'm gonna see if I like smush these down a little bit. You can see it's extended a little bit. And what that is it gives you a little bit more space for longer keys. In our experience, and Tom has been using this thing, the original, for years, we haven't had any issues with keys just like being too long. So if that is something you run into, maybe consider the Pro, but the original is pretty good for that as well. The biggest two differences between these two is that in this case, the Pro has this D-ring secured, which I really like because in the original it's not. So it can like fly all over the place. Like it will just start to go down either end there. And with me, I have to have my other keys, my fob and things attached. So it's naturally gonna pull that down, right? So it's nice to make sure that that's locked into place. The other difference is with this mechanism here, it's toolless. So all you have to do is twist it, whereas with the original, we have a little divot there. And this is where you would stick either like a tool or you would use like, this is just a US quarter. And this is what you would do to untwist. And it was just really tedious. I mean, you can get it to a point and then start to use your finger, so that's fine. But you would have to really like get a lot of tension in there using the coin. So I like being able to just use it with my fingers. So I think with a few quality of life upgrades, the Pro is definitely worth considering. So there you have it, the Orbitkey Key Organizer Pro. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.